I'm so glad to be able to be a part of Your Genius Network. And what has blessed me the most is when I was asked would I interview and spotlight what I consider to be a very, very successful woman every single month, because success varies. It just depends on what a person is believing for. And I thought about who would I want. And I said the first person I would like to have would be Jill Darden. I actually met her maybe about several years ago. And when I heard her story, and I haven't heard all of it, so you guys are in for a treat. So you're going to hear some stuff that I haven't heard also. But I was just amazed at what she has accomplished, and I wanted her to be the first one to actually be spotlighted on Your Genius Network. So I'm here with Jill Darden, and she is the founder of the Fort Worth Black News. And she agreed to have the interview, and she's such a beautiful lady, right? So I'm going to ask her some questions that you guys would probably want to know. So I'd like to know what exactly made you decide that you wanted to start a paper.
Well, thank you first of all for having me. I appreciate your kind words. Well, my mom was a publisher when I was a little girl, and she published a paper called Wichita Falls Black News, and I was 10. So she would take us to sell those papers door to door. My brother, myself, and my sister, and I loved selling the newspapers, and I had my own customers every month. We could keep a dime of each paper that we sold. They were 35 cents. We gave Mom a quarter, we keep a dime. My brother was too shy, so I outsold him, and my little sister was too slow, so I outsold her. And I had, at the end of that route, I had so many shiny dimes in the palm of my hand. I just felt so rich, you know, as a child, and I thought, it was that moment when I fell in love with the business of news, informing people, having regular customers, and making money doing what you love. And here I am, all these years later, still doing it.
Okay. Tell me about, how did you start? You knew that that's what you wanted to do. You knew that you had a desire for that. But what steps did you take? What did you actually do?
Well, in high school, I became the editor of my high school paper. And then when I went to college, UTA, I majored in broadcast journalism. I knew that I wanted to start my own paper as soon as I got out. So when I graduated, my mother helped me start the Fort Worth Black News. I was 23.
Wow.
And Darren, this month we celebrate 21 years in business.
Wow, wow, awesome,
I'm
awesome.
proud about that. Thank you.
Okay, so you decided you wanted to start it. Did you have any struggles with that? Was there any opposition, anything that was opposed against you when you got ready to get started?
Yes, yes, and yes. Oh yes, that's the journey. Okay, so I knew I wanted to start a newspaper, but straight out of college, you know, you come out a struggling college student, right? So I worked at a finance company for 2 months just to get the startup money. And then I went and rented a small office, which is probably the size of one of your closets in this beautiful place we're in. But my office was about the size of a small closet when I first started. And I would go to that office every day, and I would sit there all happy. I got my business. I'm a publisher. And I did that for about 2 weeks. Nobody called. Nobody knocked on the door. And I finally realized nobody knows I'm here. And that's when I learned to market. I realized I had to get out of that office, get out into the community, go shake people's hands. Hey, I'm Jill. I do this is what I do, and introduce myself. And so that's why I learned the value of marketing. People have to know. They have to know that you're there and know what you do and what you can do for them. So you can't just sit in that office and expect somebody to call you.
Okay.
Okay, that was just one of them.
Okay. So when you decided you're gonna market and get out there so people know you, did you have something specific in mind or in your heart or desire that you wanted to share? What did you want your newspaper to actually do?
Okay, that's a good question because our mission is to inform and inspire. And the reason I started the paper is I wanted to read something inspiring from the African American community, because when I came back to Fort Worth, when I would pick up publications, anytime I saw an African American on the newspaper or in the news, unfortunately it wasn't presented in a positive light. And I knew that we were doing some great things, and so I wanted a paper that would answer to that. What are we doing as a people that's interesting and inspiring? What's actually happening in the community that people might want to attend or know about? So we publish news that not only informs but inspires people. If we tackle a tough subject or an issue, we provide a solution because we don't want to leave people hopeless. We always want to leave the reader with a sense of hope or inspiration. So like if they read your story, they may say, oh, Darden did that? Well, maybe I can do what God put in my heart. And that's why I got out of bed in the morning, you know.
Okay. So, in everything that you actually start doing, there always are some challenges. And I know that you could probably tell me several. But tell me one that was so challenging that you really and truly didn't have a picture of, how do I get through this one?
You can tell she's a minister, right? Straight to the heart. Well, you know what? My mom started this paper with me, and she was my best friend, my business partner. And 9 years into the business, she passed away.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and so I've done it 12 years without her. But when she first passed away, I didn't know how I was going to go on. Because, I mean, when I say best friend, every morning we would get together and have breakfast and coffee, and then get our day started. So that was tough, you know. But I knew that if she were here, she would want me to go on.
Okay. So when you say that was like the first challenging, or the most challenging, because that's who you had, was there someone that came alongside to encourage you or to give you a glimpse of hope? Was there sometime we, from the outside, we find a mentor, they may not know, and we watch them, you know what I'm saying? Was there anybody that actually could kind of like, not replace her, but came alongside, you know, to kind of like give you the encouragement to keep on going?
Well, I found after my mom passed away, I found that my clients, my customers, they began to emerge in their own little way, offering little pieces of my mom. You know, when I would go and meet with them, one would say something, like there's one lady who never took her ad out ever. You know, they would just do these little things. And there's a lady who kind of mentored me unofficially, and that was Gwen Barbee. She was over the women's division of the Black Chamber of Commerce, and I cannot mention my success without mentioning her.
Okay.
Because she kind of took me under her wings and introduced me to people, and invited me to the right place at the right time. That's how I met the person who gave me a television show when I was young, a television show that we based on the paper at one of her events. And she kind of took me under her wings, I would say, so to speak. But to be honest with you, the real support came from God, and I can't lie about that.
Okay.
And then I have a little boy.
Okay.
And he's been a great inspiration, even though he's just a little something.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, well that's great. I want to kind of like segue into a little bit more personal.
It was personal for me. I'm a journalist. You know, I was like, is there more? We're digging deeper.
Personal. Anytime, sometimes there is a cliche where if a man is doing it, the road can be a little bit easier. But if a woman is doing it, the road may not be as easy. Were you ever privy of any of that, or you just were okay in that situation?
Well, you know, it's interesting that you bring that up, because when you think about publishers of newspapers or publishers of books or any type of company, heads of media companies usually are men, you know? And so I kind of began to realize that. I guess Mom kind of buffered me from that, even though she's a woman herself. She buffered me from that, but when she was removed from it, I began to kind of see that we do, I hate to say it, but we do kind of live in a man's world, so to speak, when it comes to business. And so as a woman, especially as a young woman, you have to really carry yourself in a way that you earn the respect. You cannot, you have to remember I started at 23, so I had to make sure that my clients had respect for me and that I took care of my personal reputation, you know, with males. So as a woman, I think you have to be more careful with that than a man. He can get by with it, but a woman, you have to be very careful. And another thing about a man in a woman's world, women tend to be the caretakers and nurturers of children, right?
Yes.
If a man, I'm divorced, if a man is divorced, all the women in the family rally around him and help with the child, typically, in most cases. And a woman, if she's divorced and there's no grandmother on either side, everyone expects her, well, you can handle your woman, right? Yeah. So, but the challenge I ran into, this is a big part of success, because I go out and cover events a lot, I couldn't figure out, how do I do this with a little child. Now he's big now, he can go, but he was like 4.
Okay.
God, I mean, how do I do that? You can't get a babysitter every time. You know, if you do, you're never with your child. Believe it or not, it was an older businessman who told me, take your son with you. He said, people do not have a problem with a well-behaved child. Now, they do have a problem with a bad kid. He said, but that's not your son. He was well-behaved. He said, take him with you. It will expand his horizons. He will be smarter, and it will not stop you from what you're doing. And he was 5 when I started taking him with me. I was uncomfortable, because you know what? I was judgmental before him. You know what? I was the one judging people like, why do you have these kids in here? I'm telling you, but the Lord always makes us understand. Right. Now I'm probably the least judgmental when it comes to that. You know? So, but you're asking about the male-female thing. Yes. I think when women have to take care of the children, and sometimes that does kind of play into our business role. But for me, realizing I could bring my son with me, it freed me.
Okay. Okay, great. So you've got a passion for that. So what do you want the Forward Black News to go now? I'm not asking you to give us some information that you're not ready to share.
Yeah.
But what do you see? You said it was how many years now?
21 years.
It's 21 years now, right?
Right.
So where do you see it going, and what do you want to? You've been impacting, right? So what else do you want to add to be more impactful? What else is that you want to do?
Well, we publish, the Forward Black News is our main publication, but also publish books.
Okay.
And I started publishing books 18 years ago when guy asked me to co-author a book with him. Of course, I was reluctant, about as reluctant as I was about being on the show.
Yes.
But I did. When he talked me into it, I did it, and people would see the work, and they said, well, you do my book, will you do my book? And I published like, I think about 22 or 3 books by now. And so I want to grow the book publishing part of the company for independent authors. Also want to do more television production. I like to have a network. Okay. It's been an original dream. Okay. Yeah, for a long, long time. Even before Oprah Winfrey Network. Okay. Which I love Oprah. Yeah. So I want to expand the book publishing and the network. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you something. So with 21 years, and now that's one of the things that we want to go into doing, right? So is there such a thing as a one-man show? When I say one-man show, is that something that you would do alone? Is that something that you would have a team of? Because it would be a little different than newspaper, right? Okay, so how do you segue into that? You would have to have a team, but my degree's in broadcast journalism, and I produce television. I produced for the Forward Black News cable show for Fort Worth, and I produced the Urban Voice, where I interviewed Oprah when she came to Dallas on my show. So that's my expertise. But what you do learn is that it does take a team of people, and they don't have to all work for you. Right. Sometimes you can collaborate with people. So yeah, it gives more people opportunity. By the way, my son is a great editor. So I'm like, wow, I'm going to grow up. That is excellent. That's excellent. Yeah, so that's excellent. I feel like God is putting some help in place already. So okay, that's excellent. What's kind of funny was Gio was actually like, I'm a journalist. We don't really do interviews. I'm very uncomfortable. I may not look like it, but I'm very uncomfortable. I'm very uncomfortable answering the questions. I'm used to asking the questions. Right. What is she going to ask next? Is it going to hurt? Woo! But what she doesn't know is that there's another journalist, right? That I'm gonna, and she said the same thing. Oh, so see, she said we don't interview well. That's not what we're used to, or So when you said, I was like, I got it. Yeah. But you're doing a great job. Thank you so much, because this is not what I do. No, you're doing a great job. Like that. So thank you so very much. Thank you. But I wanted to segue to let her know that there are many people that if you say Jill Darden's name in the community, they always speak very highly of you. Oh, that's wonderful. They always have respect for you. They honor you, and I don't know if you really know that or not. I don't know that, but thank God for that. And I appreciate you sharing it, because you don't normally hear the good. Now, if it's bad, you get back to you quick, fast, and in a hurry. But thank you, Daryl, and I appreciate that. So I wanted to just make sure that Your Genius Network knew who Jill Darden is.
and what she is aspiring to do. So as I have interviewed her today, and I thank you for that, and I got 2 more courses first, but I'm reminded that when she does have her own network, that you can remember, y'all heard it first on Show Your Genius Network.
Yes.
Okay, so I did want to ask, this is a little personal,
Oh,
and you can tell, okay. Do you think you'll get married? Are you open for
Do I think
getting married?
Will I get married?
Are you open for it? Are you open for it?
I'm open to whatever the Lord has for me.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
say that.
Okay.
But I am happy with what I've been blessed with.
Okay.
People often think they're going to be happier if they just had something different or a little more. But I'm very happy with what God has blessed me with and kind of where I am now. But that's probably what allows you to move into something greater, right? You know.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm open to whatever the Lord has for me.
That was a good answer.
So thank you.
That was a good answer right there. So the next one is, was there anybody that you were able to impart your knowledge, impart encouragement, impart that wanted to aspire to do what you have done?
I've helped a lot of journalists, aspiring young journalists come up. I've mentored them. I've given scholarships. I've let them write for the paper, and I still do. I think one of my favorite things to do is to work with young people who are aspiring to do either journalism or just anything positive with their lives, you know. And so I've helped numerous. Is that what you're meaning?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
And that's one of my favorite things to do, because somebody helped me. Somebody inspired me. Somebody, you know. So a lot of people who help you are unnamed, and you kind of make you forget them, but maybe they just encourage you along the way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate everybody who, from any, don't give up, keep going, you can do it. I remember one time one of my clients, Busby's Plumbing, I was in the lane, my little boy was in the back seat in the little car seat, those young years, and he passed by and he was right next to me and he blew his horn, and I looked and he said, "Just keep doing what you're doing." I was like, "Oh, that is so sweet."
It is.
I was like,
it
"Okay,
is.
we're gonna make it." You know,
It is.
From little small things like that, you know, to any advertiser, you know, who is just people who are just supporting you throughout the years in any way. People don't know how far that goes, but it makes a difference.
Okay. You know, a lot of times when you talk to someone, like earlier I was talking about different levels of success. Would you be able to say that you are successful?
I believe I am, based on, okay, my sister gave me a case for my birthday. It was like it was a curio cabinet with lights shining down, and I put all of my awards in there, okay? They weren't in there before, they were like kind of pushed back. I put all of my awards over the years, and what that did for me, it made me realize, oh my gosh, I did something with my life. I made a difference. Somebody appreciated my life. If I died today, somebody would say, Jill made an impact, a positive impact on the world, because I've shared so many, when I tell you, I share people's stories. That's why I'm more comfortable doing, telling your story and pulling out of people things in them they didn't even realize that they had. And when I tell it in the way that God has anointed me to do it, it not only inspires the reader, but it inspires that person to say, that's me, you know. And that's kind of what I felt like when I looked at the awards, because you can get so busy with life and so, you know, the hustle and bustle. But when I said, oh my gosh, people have appreciated what I've done, my life has mattered. You know, when I say matter, I know we have intrinsic value whether we ever get an award or not. But what I meant is I made an impact on the world around me. And so I feel that that's success.
Yes. There's no other way to end that. We're just going to end it. I want to thank you so very much.
I'm so glad I'm doing it.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Show Your Genius Network. You've spoken with Jill Darden.
Thank you.